Thanks for listening to the Thyroid Fixxr podcast with your host, me, Dr. Amie Horniman, aka the Thyroid Fixxr, functional medicine practitioner, hormone and weight loss expert. We're talking all things thyroid, hormone, and health related in order to empower, educate, and transform you. So if you're ready to get your life back, let's get started. We're going to talk about an individual specific ingredient that is in the Hormone Fixxr that just makes it a rock star. So this is going to be a game changer for you, and you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. The latest introduction, the latest member of the family to the Fixxr line is Metabolism Fixxr. And this, oh my God, I formulated this just for all my people out there that need to lose weight, that need help in the weight loss department, that can't lose weight no matter what they do, that feel like they have a slow metabolism, and that might be thinking of trying all those peptides out there, you know, the Beverly Hills soccer mom drug of choice for weight loss peptides. Or even if you're on them already and you're like, man, these are really expensive and I'm still not losing weight, add in Metabolism Fixxr. Here's what I did. I took the power of T2, which increases your basal metabolic rate while you are sitting there watching Netflix. You're burning fat while you're watching Netflix. I combined it with a very unique patented ingredient called Suppressa. Suppressa has multiple clinical trials backing its efficacy in reducing your appetite, decreasing snacking, and providing way more control over your food intake. It is amazing. We also see improved emotional well-being, just decreased food cravings all around, reduced hunger, and weight management. Add on top of that, we have green tea extract, we have purple forest purple tea extract, both of which affect the metabolism in a very positive way without the jitters of normal fat burning supplements out there from the 1980s and 90s, right? The ones that made you feel like you're having a heart attack. You will not have that in any of my supplements, Thyroid Fixxr or Metabolism Fixxr. But Metabolism Fixxr, ooh, yeah, we kicked it up a notch. It is in powder form, so you can drink it through your day. It's going to flavor your water. We got orange crush and refreshing citrus. I love them both. It is going to keep you under control all day long. So you throw a couple scoops in your water bottle in the morning, throw a scoop or two in your water bottle throughout the day. You will have fat burning and appetite control the entire day for what? An eighth of a price of the peptides? Oh my God, you can't go wrong. So grab some Metabolism Fixxr today. Please let me know how you do on it. I am super excited for you. Super excited. Amongst all the other amazing ingredients in there, this one really stands out because there has been literally, over 150 scientific papers published on this one specific ingredient that I made sure to include in my Hormone Fixxr. That ingredient is Tongkat Ali, also known as Longjack fruit. This is an herb from Malaysia going back to the 1100s. And it was used as a potent antioxidant. It was used as an aphrodisiac. It was used to enhance overall well-being, performance. It was used medicinally to treat things like high blood pressure and diabetes. Now, in today's literature, we can see a host of beneficial health effects on the body from Tongkat Ali. I absolutely love it. So let's dive into this. So the aphrodisiac portion of it, ladies and gentlemen, I know that many of you suffer from low libido. Now, low libido is not just about having low testosterone. It's definitely tied to it. And we're going to get into Tongkat Ali's benefits on testosterone, but let's talk about it as an aphrodisiac alone. This is a standalone effect of it. So not only are you getting the benefits of increased testosterone, you're also getting specific aphrodisiac effects. Now, this is not like a Viagra. This is not anything dangerous that's going to make you run around and be super horny. This is a slow process that gradually brings that back, that desire. It brings back that wanting to have sex kind of feeling that so many of you are missing. So that is super cool about Tongkat just on its own. Now, like I said, there's over 150 scientific papers published on this herb. So you can go to things like PubMed and Google Scholar and look at all the different beneficial effects that Tongkat Ali has on the body. There's one study in particular that showed improved growth hormone, which is beneficial for men and women. Now, growth hormone is our anti-aging hormone. We can test for it looking at levels of IGF, IGF-1, and it's just a hormone that naturally decreases after the age of 30. We start to get a slow and steady decrease, usually about a 2 to 5% decrease every single year after the age of 30. That's why I remember back in the 90s, Suzanne Summers was so big with her anti-aging book. She was talking about her doctor actually prescribing her exogenous growth hormone as an anti-aging treatment. Now, these days, it's very, very difficult to prescribe. Not many doctors, the FDA has cracked down on a lot of them for prescribing growth hormone. So that's not allowed unless you happen to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to a top-notch anti-aging clinic in Vegas. Then you might get some growth hormone prescribed to you. But other than that, almost impossible to find. And forget the black market because all of that is fake. I remember growth hormone use from back in the days of bodybuilding, back in the days of competing. Many, many people would use it for the benefits of fat loss and increased muscle, which was great. But the problem with using exogenous growth hormone is that it would increase any kind of cancer cell that you had, and it would also increase your organs. So if you look at a professional bodybuilder, you'll see his or her stomach is distended. Even though it's a turtle shell six-pack, the stomach is distended, which is indicative of the organs themselves growing from that exogenous growth hormone. Now, when you stimulate the production of your own growth hormone, and we can do this through heavy lifting, we can do this through intermittent fasting, we can do this through the use of Tongkat Ali, then you get those same anti-aging benefits like fat loss, improved skin, improved libido, improved overall well-being, enhancement of cognition. You can get all of those benefits without the negative side effects of using exogenous growth hormone because our bodies produce it naturally anyways. So the goal of Tongkat Ali having its effect on the anterior pituitary is that it will stimulate additional growth hormone of your own. And believe me, we can still do this. Now, there are some hormones, like you hear me talk about thyroid hormone, that when it's in the toilet, sometimes we actually have to use thyroid hormone replacement therapy to replace that hormone that is no longer being properly made by your body. This is different with growth hormone. With growth hormone, we can stimulate the production because your pituitary is still there. It just slowed down in the production of making growth hormone as you age. So using Tongkat Ali, we can actually stimulate that production. And that is, again, in the Hormone Fixxr, the Hormone Fixxr. Okay, so here's another benefit. How often do I talk about high sex hormone binding globulin? All the time, because a lot of you have it. I see it ad nauseum on many of your blood work. And the problem with having high sex hormone binding globulin is it will bind. So listen to the term, sex hormone binding globulin. It's like a little car, right? It grabs onto your testosterone and it grabs onto your T3 and it delivers it to where it has to go. But if you have too much, you don't want too little. Some of you with polycystic ovarian syndrome, you don't have enough sex hormone binding globulin, which is why you have sometimes, not all PCOS patients have elevated testosterone, but sometimes we will see elevated testosterone with low, too low sex hormone binding globulin. Well, the opposite is true. If you have elevated sex hormone binding globulin, it will bind to your testosterone, lowering that free testosterone that is available. Sometimes we'll see a lowering in the total testosterone. Most of the time, we will see a lowering in the free, unbound testosterone. Not good. We don't want to lower your testosterone. We also don't want to bind to T3. We don't want to bind to thyroid hormone and render that inactive along with testosterone, because thyroid hormone, T3, and testosterone, your get shit done hormone, that's what's going to give you fat loss, weight loss, improved stamina, strength, energy. Those are the last two hormones that we want to drop down low or be bound to sex hormone binding globulin. So Tongkat Ali does help to lower SHBG. When we lower SHBG, now we have more testosterone available. So that's going to increase your natural testosterone levels in order for that testosterone to get to the cells to do its job as that get shit done hormone of increasing motivation, increasing metabolism, increasing sexy lean muscle mass. And this is what we want, right? This is exactly what we want. And Tongkat Ali helps that. So it's also increasing testosterone by naturally increasing luteinizing hormone, or LH. LH is released by the anterior pituitary gland. Tongkat Ali comes in and supports LH. It supports the release of LH from the pituitary gland. So we want that LH to go out and stimulate the gonads and the ovaries to make testosterone. So we have the decrease in SHBG. We have the increase in growth hormone. We have the increase in luteinizing hormone. We also have a positive effect on Tongkat Ali lowering aromatization. Now, what is that? Many of you want elevated testosterone levels, but you don't want elevated estrogen levels, because some of you are already dealing with estrogen dominance. And that's the last thing you want, is something to increase your estrogen even more. Even when you're loading on the DIM and the indole 3-carbinol and the broccoli and all of the cruciferous vegetables, if you're doing all of that to lower your estrogen, why would you want to increase your estrogen through aromatization? You don't. So whether you're a male or a female, we have to realize that when testosterone levels increase, some testosterone aromatizes, and aromatase is an enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. So when we say that Tongkat lowers aromatization, what we're saying is it's helping to not allow the testosterone to convert over into estrogen. Now, my menopausal ladies, a lot of you have low testosterone and you want to address that specifically, but many of you also have low estrogen as an effect of being in menopause. We don't want to increase your testosterone to crazy levels in order to get that aromatization. So I don't want you sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I can't take anything with Tongkat in it because I don't want to block aromatization. Yes, you do. Because usually testosterone will aromatize into the estrogens that you don't want. If you are a postmenopausal woman, you're looking to increase fat loss, increase your growth hormone, increase your testosterone, get some of that get shit done hormone, you can still address your estrogen. And hopefully you're working with someone who knows what the heck they're doing. You can still address your estrogen by using bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, such as an estradiol patch or estradiol cream. You don't want to raise your estrogen through aromatization. So Tongkat actually helps to lower aromatization of testosterone to estrogen, which is beneficial across the board, male or female. The other thing that Tongkat does is it reduces cortisol. It reduces stress and anxiety. And where we see high cortisol, we know when cortisol is high, testosterone is low. We know when cortisol is high, our blood sugar rises. We know when cortisol is high, it impairs T4 to T3 conversion. So the last thing we want to do is be walking around with high cortisol. Now, what many of you will do, if you think you have high cortisol or you tested for high cortisol, is you will run out and you will take an adrenal supplement. You'll take something with ashwagandha in it. Meanwhile, you don't realize that you could be increasing your cortisol. Ashwagandha is a very ineffective adaptogen. And too many people, too many of you listening are using ashwagandha in order to improve your cortisol levels without knowing what your actual cortisol levels are. Most of the time in this stressed out society, we have a ton of stress in our life. If you are battling a weight issue, you're trying to lose weight, what you're doing is you're going out and you're being a cardio queen, you're running, you're doing all that cardio, you're on the treadmill, you're on the stepper. And in doing so, you are raising your cortisol. So with that rise in cortisol, you are lowering your testosterone because you're not out there lifting heavy shit. Like we said many, many, many times, to increase testosterone naturally, you have to lift heavy shit, LHS. LHS improves the GSD. So we want to not be a cardio queen. We want to lower cortisol. And that's just one benefit, one more benefit of Tongkat. I love this herb. I love it. Okay. And then we also don't want cortisol high, like I said earlier, because of elevated blood sugar. We know as your blood glucose rises, as cortisol comes up, it's going to push up your glucose. And that is going to eventually make those cells resistant to insulin. Then you become insulin resistant. We want you to stay insulin sensitive. And Tongkat Ali has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity as well. That's why it was used many thousands of years ago, a couple thousands of years ago, as a medication per se, herbal remedy for diabetes and high blood pressure. So we get to lower cortisol, we get to lower stress, we get to lower anxiety, we get to improve T4 to T3 conversion because we take that high cortisol out of the mix. So that's pretty awesome. Tongkat Ali also has been shown to increase lean muscle mass, increase strength, and improve athleticism. Again, these are independent of raising the testosterone level. So we know testosterone improves strength. We know that testosterone improves muscle mass. Sexy lean muscle mass makes you more metabolically active. We know testosterone gives you motivation and gives you drive, and it actually improves your mood. So a lot of people think that testosterone is just for, that dude kind of demeanor of, what is it? Aggression. But no. Proper levels of testosterone actually balance the mood. They reduce stress. They reduce the stress response to a stressful situation, which we can't avoid because we're in this thing called life. Stress is going to come at you sometimes in multiple different ways. And the last thing we want to do is respond with elevated cortisol and high anxiety and high stress response. That's not good for our bodies. That's not good for our minds. That's not good for long-term avoidance of diseases of aging, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, neurological conditions, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. We want to keep stress levels low, and we want to improve our response to that stress that is unavoidable. Tongkat Ali helps to do that. Again, independent of improving testosterone. So we have the benefits of improving testosterone. We have the benefits of a natural testosterone increase. That has its benefits over here. Then we have the additional, almost layered on top of benefits of Tongkat Ali with the improved testosterone. So just a little history. Tongkat Ali was actually once known as the tree that cures 100 diseases due to its wide range of medicinal properties, again, which include anti-malarial effects. It was used to treat migraines, fevers, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure. And these have gone through the decades. These have transcended time. And we are now looking at it in our Western culture as a very potent and very powerful supplement that we can add in to improve overall health. So stamina, sex drive, weight loss, growth hormone, athleticism, strength, muscle mass, insulin sensitivity, inflammation. And actually the latest research findings on Tongkat include anti-HIV effects, anti-cancer effects and immune boosting properties, because Tongkat actually increases your T cells and CD4 cells. So that would be something I will let you research on your own. But T cells and CD4 cells are part of our immune system that go out and they battle. They battle for us. They battle disease. They battle viruses. They battle cancer cells. So as you can see, this is one of the many, many, many reasons why I added Tongkat Ali into the Hormone Fixxr supplement that is available on my store. The benefits are just too big. The benefits are just too big. This is not just for men, although you will hear it spoken more about in the male space because of the testosterone. This is where I think, ladies, we get the short end of the stick. People tend to forget that we need testosterone. We need our testosterone levels to be optimal as well. And when we do something like add Tongkat into a mix, a perfect little mix of other ingredients that will support our bodies and support natural testosterone production, that will help decrease aromatization into estrogen so we can avoid estrogen dominance, it's a wonderful thing. One last note, and I'll post more about this, I promise, but it's kind of a did you know? So the more I study all of the ingredients that I'm interested in bringing to you in the perfect combination to help you improve your health overall, especially thyroid and hormones, DHEA. And this is something I will admit I did not know until I dove into the research. And how many of you have been told to use DHEA, are using DHEA, have a supplement that contains DHEA that's supposedly supposed to raise your testosterone? Well, here's the problem. DHEA is very beneficial to our adrenal glands. But we have to remember that DHEA is also a precursor to both testosterone and estrogen. Yes, I said and estrogen. DHEA can convert to estrogen. So those of you who are taking DHEA in hopes of raising your testosterone levels, or maybe a practitioner gave you DHEA saying, here you go, this is all you need to raise those low testosterone levels, wrong. Where are your estrogen levels? Are you estrogen dominant? The last thing you want is to have these super physiological levels of DHEA, which can then push over into estrogen and make you estrogen dominant. We have to remember that one of the many causes of weight gain, in addition to low testosterone, in addition to not having enough thyroid hormone, in addition to having insulin resistance, is estrogen dominance, because it will lay down fat, it will bloat you, it will cause water retention like you're a camel. So why are you taking these high levels of DHEA? And that's one reason why DHEA is not in the Hormone Fixxr. Why are you taking high levels of DHEA if it's going to push over into estrogen? Now, again, if you are a menopausal woman, maybe that's something that you work with your practitioner on. Maybe that's in the mix and you're like, well, I kind of want more estrogen, right? That's fine. But again, I would prefer to address your low estrogen in menopause with bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And one thing to think about, ladies, is that, and this is a whole other topic, but if you happen to be a breast cancer survivor with an estrogen receptor type of cancer, and the jury is still out, there are many, many studies that say that taking bioidentical hormone replacement is just fine and actually protective against breast cancer. But what you don't want to do are take things that can push over into estrogen without being guided by your practitioner. It's one thing to actually use bioidentical estrogen in low amounts in order to be very supportive and protective of the breast and the brain, because estrogen does that. It's another thing to be taking ingredients that can aromatize or push over into estrogen. And then here you are avoiding bioidentical hormone replacement therapy because your doctor scared the pants off of you. And yet you're taking something that you unknowingly are taking that pushes over into estrogen. Tongkat Ali in the Hormone Fixxr. Amazing, amazing benefits. Yes, I went off on a tangent on a couple of different things, but I hope that this guides you, gives you a little bit more insight into that particular powerhouse, amazing ingredient. And I also hope it gives you a little bit more insight into what you should be taking and what you possibly should not be taking in order to raise testosterone levels, to improve performance, to anti-age, to lose fat, to have better skin, to be a badass human, the badass human that you are meant to be. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope you loved it. And as always, if you would be so kind to leave a review if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, that would be absolutely amazing. I read all of them. Also, anything that you hear on this podcast is not intended to diagnose or treat any kind of medical condition. So we always recommend that you check with your medical provider, your doctor, your nurse practitioner before implementing anything that you hear on this podcast. And if you want to find out more about working together, you can click the link below in the show notes to book a discovery call. And there you'll be talking to a member of my team. They are an extension of me. They are amazing. And you and I will talk after that once we get you all signed up and you and I get to work together. All right. I hope to see you soon.